time for Dr. Lamb Chops.
Yeah, Dr. Lamb, and he does chop. Happy Sturd-O-Ween, people. We're back again. Some more foreign horror and another crazy, crazy, crazy ass movie with a crazy ass guy, a crazy ass fucking taxi driver at that. A crazy taxi driver again. This gives the name Crazy Taxi a whole another meaning, guys. If you've watched this movie and you've seen I Saw the Devil,
And we're not talking about Taxi Hunter. That's a different Cat 3 film.
and that's another whole I guess that's another whole crazy ass taxi driver.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with your taxi drivers, people.
Yeah.
Especially in certain areas, it sounds. Now the Cat 3 thing, because we were discussing this off the air, Trevor, can you just because you opened up with it, can you explain what that is again, please?
Well, while you're so number one, I think Dr. Lam is one of the best of the Cat 3 films. So in Hong Kong, there really wasn't a rating system up till, about the 70s at all. And that led to certain exploitation cinema getting right beside regular cinema. And there was censorship, but it wasn't till the release of John Woo's classic A Better Tomorrow, and it made so much money that there actually was a concern because, children could literally walk into a theater and say, hey, we're going to go see Better Tomorrow, and everybody go, hey. So that enacted some elements of a rating system, and roughly around 1988-ish, it was made official. Now it's funny because A Better Tomorrow actually did not get a category 3, but category 3 is the equivalent of an X or an NC-17 in the United States. But what makes it very, very special is even though it works like our X rating or our NC-17, cinemas in Hong Kong didn't care. It was all about making money. So you could have an animated film and also Dr. Lam playing at the same theater. So, that element of censorship never made sense to them. And also, when the Cat 3 situation became more official, there are all kind of films from Hong Kong that were, taken back and re-rated to Cat 3 just because it became almost like a status symbol. But it's very important that they're very violent. They're also usually over the top in many, many ways. Typically violence, sexual violence, things of that nature. A lot of these movies are shit. I'll just flat out say it, but there are so many diamonds in the rough. In these movies, we're saying a hell of a lot more than what a lot of other films were doing in Hong Kong. Because in 1997, Hong Kong was going to officially be returned to China. And everybody was like, well, the film industry. We have the film industry. It's great. We have freedom. It's going to go to shit. So there was like a 7-year period in which filmmakers were just like, we're never going to get to do this stuff. So let's just push it. And that's why also a lot of Cat 3's violence is sometimes pointed to as a form of protest about the handover of Hong Kong to China. So that's just a little bit about Cat 3.
Oh, wow.
So did Cat, if your movie was rated Cat 3, did it affect box office at all? Because here
Nope.
it does. If you get and then
that's how it's different.
You're dead. You're dead
Yeah,
in the water.
it was, if this movie makes money, we're going to put it in theaters. So Cat 3 never had the stigma that X and NC-17 do. Like I to this day, I still feel that non-rated or not rated is the best option because, NC-17 was created for a movie about 2 authors. These people wrote erotic books. I think NC-17 is stupid. I think X is stupid, but, Dr. Lum is a well-made film.
Mhm.
And it also peaks all those, categories of category 3. Disgusting, in your
Mhm.
face, violent. Usually the police system is corrupt.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Titties growing your
It's-
back.
Jesus.
It's I was I wasn't expecting to see titties in a jar. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And that is from the real
I
case.
didn't
Yes.
expect a titty fall on the back of a woman laying
That
a
shit
cop
cracked me
just
up.
sitting there just
Bro,
laying
it-
out her back.
Yo, you know what's funny about that scene besides that part is when he was going to pick it back up, he was going to grab it by the nipple because the nipple was like this. I was just, oh my god, I was chuckling.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
found myself. I'm like, am I supposed to be laughing at this? Is this supposed to be funny?
I know,
Mm.
I know.
And then, like,
You
I found
can't
out
help
later
it.
that it's supposed to be a dark. I was like, oh, okay, that was supposed to be funny. All right, I thought it
I
was a weird.
couldn't
movie.
help it though. It was just out of the ordinary. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yo, this
Ugh.
dude was unfucking hinged.
And I do have a question while I'm thinking about it because if I don't ask now, I'll forget. Why?
Go ahead.
It might be a stupid question, but
No, no,
why
no.
is it sometimes they'll speak perfect English?
In this
Oh.
movie, right? Especially
Yeah.
the dude in the red shirt.
Oh,
Yeah, he was just every time he would cuss.
Yeah, it seems whenever they're swearing at
It's
each
like,
other, perfect
Motherfucking
English.
dirty bastard.
That gets interesting because you have the fact that Hong Kong and Kowloon speak Cantonese, and there's simplified and regular, and then part speak Mandarin, and then part based on the occupation. In the schools, everybody is pretty much taught English.
Oh shit.
Interesting. Okay.
Because once Hong Kong was given back to China, everything was gonna change. So as a time capsule, these movies leading up to that have an amazing urgency that really push the extreme in a way that you mentioned it. Should I find this funny or not? No, that there is a dark humor to almost every Cat 3 film.
yeah, I noticed that too. They'll be talking, then all of a
Mm.
sudden a whole sentence in English. Then it went back. I was like, the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
I was
it
just
in the
thinking that
school,
they
but
didn't
at
have
the time
those
was
words
also
in
the
that
business
language. I was like, oh,
language.
they're using American words there. I'm like, okay. They got to fill in the gaps.
Mhm.
Yo, what the so just to ask about the real life guy, if you do know about this, Trevor, and in the
Yeah.
movie, putting the duct tape over their eyes after he already, takes their lives.
You don't want them to look at them.
Oh, well, okay. So the guy that is, well, it's not even, this is about Lam Kwai. Spot spelled like lamb. That actually is potentially for two reasons. Number one,
Oh,
it could be
shit.
issues with copyright and whatever, which make no sense. But I like this theory even more. It was changed to cash in on what came out several years before, Silence of the Lambs. So
Ooh.
Lam Kwai was his childhood was represented well in a very short amount of time. He had major social issues that veered into the sadistic. He did not do certain things to a family member, to my knowledge, but when he was young, he had assaulted and fondled, I believe, a young girl and served time for that. So everything in this movie about Dr. Lam, the taxi driver, he is fascinated with anatomy. He is, exactly how he kills every one of his victims is pretty damn close to police record.
Damn.
Yeah, so one of the things that it isn't in this film that I find funny is sometimes Lam Kwai is termed to as the jar killer, taxi killer. I mean, all kind of stuff because there are only really two serial killers known from Hong Kong. But he actually kept his souvenirs in Tupperware, just little tiny thing. Also, to answer the question pertaining to why he would put tape over the eyes or do makeup or things of that nature, the actual true killer, like Simon Yam's killer, Dr. Lamb, only crosses the necrophilia line with one of the 4 he killed, to the police's knowledge and capabilities at that time. But he was obsessed with photography. And I'll touch upon something that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, why the hell did he do this? But he was so obsessed with trying to make beauty beauty. His life was all about being pushed back. It was all about hardship. It was all about, he wanted to see beautiful. And that's what he was doing with these dead bodies. He actually, one of his victims, he wasn't going to kill them. They actually started, talking, and he even said that he was, actually just attracted to her. But as soon as she fell asleep, he had to strangle her with a wire. Sick dude.
Super sick. Like,
Yeah, but
just
that's, and as I said before, watching it now, we go, dude, are you really that stupid that you're going to send your pictures to a 1-hour photo? Well, here's the thing. Okay, you got to remember the time period, and you also got to remember the number of people that didn't do their research and didn't honestly think that that machine didn't do all of it. Because, I mean, you talk to anybody who worked in these 1-hour photos and stuff like that, they'll tell you stories about they saw things of their neighbors they never wanted to see. So him getting caught in the opening, how he's caught, that's exactly how they kill how they catch the real killer. It's all the manager of this, Kodak shop called the police, even though he thought these pictures were connected to possibly a movie or special effects. They still seem weird. That's how the police got involved, and that's how they were able to catch this completely unknown killer at the time.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's so him. What made it kind of scary and crazy with him was when he was like, he only kills in the rain,
Oh, that was because
and
of
you
the
see
scene.
his mood change between like regular weather, like a nice clear night, and a stormy rainy night. It was like night and fucking day, and then once that lightning and thunder hit,
Oh
literally,
yeah,
I was like, oh shit.
Well, that was his trigger, right?
yeah. That's when
Yeah.
because he got caught that one time during those
Yeah.
rainstorm, and his
Yeah.
mother beat him and put him in that closet or that room or wherever the fuck he was in.
I don't
Oh,
think
and
it
his wife
honestly
was
dives
dancing
into
and
the
stuff.
psychology of Lam that much. It really doesn't have time. I think that was more things like that are just used for dramatic effect. Because there was, his motivations were not really that I mean, he didn't have many motivations. Like I
Okay,
said, one of his victims he didn't plan on killing, and the impulse was too much.
okay. Let's speak about this really quick. I'm
Okay.
not saying they deserve it, especially the one.
Shit.
But am I the only one noticed that they were all bitches?
No.
They
they're like
definitely
calling
were.
him names and everything. I'm like, what did he do? He's picking you up. It's his job. You're getting in the cab. He said, "Hey, where you going?" He's like, They're like, they're stupid, calling him stupid and shit. I'm like, the fuck
Mhm.
is going on? I'm like, get the hell out of my cab.
She
See,
like
and
throws up all over him.
Mm.
I'm
you know
like,
what I was thinking
damn.
when I was watching that
This
scene,
is not
James?
not the first movie we've talked about with a bad cab ride.
Not at all. Nope. It probably won't be the last one. But what I want to
Mhm.
say though is, when I'm watching this scene, I'm thinking real life scenarios. I'm like, all right, right now you 3 are doing terrible because going out, male or female, going out, you should not get that drunk to where you're stumbling and falling all over. 2, if your one friend is that wasted, you don't just leave them leaning up against a car and walk off. Like they just literally just left her there, walked off with a random cab. It's like, no, you usually go together, make sure everybody gets home safe, or you go stay at one person's house, you sober up, go get your vehicles the next day. I'm like, damn, this is just it's and like it's funny in a sense, but it's not funny because yes, this is a movie, but it's also like real life situations where people get themselves in real life situations, and it's like, yes, you should be able to walk safe. Don't get me wrong, you should be able to walk safe by yourself anywhere you go, but we don't live in a world like that, and this movie is definitely not a world like that. You need to go in groups, at least groups of 2 or 3. Be smart.
Buddy system.
Yes, and don't get too intoxicated.
And
have
don't
at least
accept
one
candy
sober
from anybody with a white van.
or a white man.
Words to
Rule
live by.
number 1. Rule number 2.
Rule number 2: white van or white man. You know
Well,
what?
usually
Don't
it is a white
for
man
anybody
or a
you
white
don't know.
van, so it's a safe bet. You know?
I mean, and Cobra, it was a dark blue van.
If you see white, take flight.
I like it because that's exactly what I do.
Sturdy's next
See
shirt.
white, take flight. That's a beautiful shirt. If you see white, take flight.
That's funny.
You see brown, stay around. We ain't gonna bother you, man. For the most part, some might. I'm speaking for myself. I won't. Probably don't even realize you're there. I'm my own damn business.
Oh man.
I did want to ask about the police procedures too. They beat the shit out of that
A
guy.
book on their chest that he just hits it with a hammer.
And while they're whipping him the bottom of his feet with a belt at the same time. Was this normal police procedure in Hong Kong in the 80s?
It was expanded upon and made, more fantastic. But yes, the police in Hong Kong during the 70s and the 80s were not respected much at all. Many were on the take. Violence was, since they were a colony, was kind of turn the other cheek. We don't want to take the time to deal with this. So you'll see an amazing amount of police brutality in Cat 3 films. Some is just for the fact that it's brutality, because you do have like Cat 3 films that are nothing but torture, like the Daughters of Darkness series. But in the case of Dr. Lam and some other films that like Donnie Lee and Anthony Wong were connected to, it is making a statement. And that yet again goes to the urgency of Cat 3. We're like, we're not going to be able to make any kind of political statements at all, unless we're like, kiss China's ass, which actually it wasn't that bad, and there is a film industry, but Cat 3 is never going to happen in Hong Kong again. So
this shit, man.
They
It's
beat the shit out
just
of
They really did.
they whoop his ass. They let the family get it on it after a while. Everybody was whooping his ass.
Yeah, I know.
There, you get
I
it
think
out
that's
of him.
actually part of the true story, if I remember
What is wrong
correctly.
with you?
Yeah.
And you know what I want to say though?
Mhm.
I'll be honest.
Yo, he was taking those hits though.
In situations like this, I'll say when someone takes someone's family, at the very least, let them beat the shit out of that person. Why the fuck not? Seriously, I'm not even trying to listen. If you took someone's life, let that family not kill you, but in a legal way, at a prison or in a
If
whatever
anything,
court.
at least one free shot. One free good hit.
Hey, listen.
Because I'm going
You
to
pick
aim right
four.
for
You
the
pick
throat.
you pick 4 family members. They get to punch the shit out of you for about a good 2 minutes. I think that's fair.
Oh yeah.
Then you got to bring them back.
At least they're smart about it though, because they didn't leave any marks except for whenever.
Yeah, because the book, they're like, let's lay
but
this flat.
it wouldn't have mattered because
Bottom of his
the cops were there. They were just like, "Yo, whoop his ass."
Yeah, like we're good.
But that also, police brutality is in a lot of Asian cinema. Like, if you look at a lot of the Shaw Brothers films, or even any of the feudal Japan films, who's ever in that, a level of authority is almost always abusing it. So, something that has been touched upon in Asian cinema.
He, hit that wire.
Mhm.
He loved that shit. He loved using that shit because he was chasing the girl in the damn rain and smiling.
Mm.
That's not something you want to like.
And he didn't care because she even ran to a police post
Mhm.
area, and he was like, "I don't give a fuck where you're at." He's like, "Come here, bitch."
So I want to ask this one of Sturdy,
Yes.
because it's I don't think it is. I think it's actually played well. Okay, so Simon Yam plays Dr. Lam.
Mm-hmm.
And did you feel that his extraordinarily stoic and then like total over the top, just acting balls to the wall, was it too much? Or did
I
it act, or was it effective for you?
I think it made him. It made the character. It made him seem insane,
Hmm.
which you needed for this character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people say it's too hammy, but I think it's great. I mean, uh, to you
Because
were
you got
sorry.
no. I was gonna say because you have to think of. He has body parts in jars that he's collecting.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
has pictures of his victims that he's collecting, and just like it's regular art. There's something there's
Mhm.
of course so like with him acting calm at one point and then totally over the top, I'm like, that's 100% expected with what the hell he's actually doing. If you're paying attention to the things he's doing in this movie, you know what I mean? Like when they're going back and they're talking to him and they're interrogating him and stuff, and then he's just like telling the story when they show him the pictures and stuff. He starts remembering the things, and he's just telling the story, and it shows us what the fuck's going on. And you're just like, holy shit, this guy is just what the fuck?
Well, I think that the total lunacy also plays a lot to the fact that he is still quite stunted as, from his childhood. I have read that the actual serial killer might have only ever had intercourse with the one victim ever the time that they were dead. So, I think Simon Yam does this beautiful job of almost being childlike and then being this like rock with no personality. So I liked it. I was just curious about you guys.
I was surprised at the movie because I really didn't know what to expect. And whenever I looked it up and I saw it was based on the true shit, I was just like, okay. And then like in the beginning, you can tell he's gonna be fucked up because he gets beat so much. So then when he's in the police station,
This guy's still alive.
he's just in there getting beat on with no emotion whatsoever. He's just like, oh, this again. Fun.
And you're also know when you're crazy is when you're in prison and a cop visits you and you go, "Can I have my pictures and tapes back?"
Well, like whenever
he wanted those shits in jail. He wanted to look at them.
Yo,
I like how he had those tit jars standing there, and they were like, "These are yours." And he's like, "Can I have them back?"
Yeah,
He's like,
No.
"Get the fuck out of here."
he was serious too.
That's the crazy part is he was dead serious again with him being calm at one point and extreme at another. All that shit in between.
Mhm.
You see why he's calm at one point and extreme at another. When he's sitting down with a straight face, asking if he can have his jar of body parts back,
Mhm.
or the
Like they're his
pictures,
toys.
Yeah,
or any of that.
So-
back.
Asking for his
Yeah,
toys
it's his
back.
art. He wanted
It's like-
that's his picture.
It's like, can I take this to my cell, officer? At the very least, can I take this back?
He
to my
wants to hang him up on the wall.
collection.
Mhm.
One of the questions of the case itself is kind of touched upon, several times in the movie. And that is, he did share a room with a family member. And he did end up becoming a taxi driver that worked overnight. And most of the family was not around during the day. So the question that the police do ask several times, and unfortunately they, and they never really, went into much in the actual case because it was just a sensation at the time. But do you honestly feel that the Dr. Lam was actually successfully doing what he was doing and none of the family members had any fucking idea?
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Yeah. In real life, I think they knew more. I think honestly they were scared by it.
Especially
Yeah,
the
I could see
mess.
the sister being freaked out because he was checking her out when she was 13, taking a bath or whatever.
The dad just
Maybe-
seemed like he was in denial all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna
His
say the
actual father
dad
was very,
definitely.
very abusive. Extremely.
The
So
dad
his
definitely.
dad, like, oh, he's just being a boy. That's
Yeah.
not real. His dad was very abusive.
Mm. Interesting.
And that's probably the part where he got it from. Is his dad. It had to be.
Mm.
At least some. Definitely the anger. Definitely the anger. Because.
He even said something whenever they were beating the shit out of him about like him always getting beat when he was a kid and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, I forgot what he said verbatim, but he said pretty much like this is nothing. But
Yeah.
you have a phone book
Normal
on your
man.
chest. They're hitting you in the chest with a hammer. That's not nothing.
That was
That's not for
crazy.
you
I
to
was
be
like,
sitting there
damn.
looking all stoic with your feet out, getting beat with a belt.
Yeah, that part should make you laugh, but that made me laugh. And another part, okay, I got to bring this up really quick because it just popped in my head. So when he killed one victim, and he's like, the body's on the ground, he's just looking at her, and he's just like memorized by her. He's like just going up and down the body. Then all of a sudden, he's like going into a like a manic state, and he just starts slapping the titties and shit. I started dying.
Like a child.
Yeah, he was doing
You're
that.
like a child. It's like,
And then he went
he
never
never matured
like
past
this.
a certain point.
I
I was like,
And,
what the?
Then he grabs her legs and starts walking her legs.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was funny.
I was like, what the fuck is
But-
going on?
It shows the insanity, though. It shows the even though it's comical, it shows the insanity. It's dark comedy.
And Simon Yam is an amazing actor. And we talked a little bit about, the idea that these Cat 3 films were in a lot of theaters with a lot of other rated films. It also is interesting because there's an amazing number of Cat 3 films that feature major legends, and this is one. So Donnie Lee plays the police officer, police inspector, but he also directed the film. And Simon Yam is also one of the biggest stars in Hong Kong history. And he has been in almost every Johnny To film and won numerous awards for films like Exile, Election, all these like PTU. I mean, both of them are big time producers and they're still functioning within the system, but they were releasing romantic comedies beside this. And Simon Yam was okay. So, yes, the category 3 stuff could get very grimy, and there were reports of certain actors taking things a little too far. Simon Yam did these parts so seriously, but he also was known. Actresses would fight if Yam was in a film and there were sex scenes because he was known for being one of the most respectable actors ever to act in Cat 3 films. So, it's not like little people making exploitation cinema here. I mean, Danny Lee is, best known to, English audiences as the cop in John Woo's The Killer. I mean, these are big stars making what is a grimy, intense exploitation film. And that's amazing. In the United States, you star in this and you wouldn't act in another thing ever.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, though, James? Your overall.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, before we went live, when your computer froze, kicked you out, me and Trevor were discussing. I like the style of this movie. So usually a movie is the police are trying to catch the serial killer. This starts off he's caught.
Yeah.
And they break it down like going story by story for each victim. So they can say, okay, how did you kill this one? And all that. I thought that was pretty cool how they did that.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. You kind of got to see a different side of it instead of the hunt and all that other stuff, and then it ends with whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's we got him. The story is what the fuck did you do to these people?
it was like
much.
the
Okay,
usual
another thing.
suspects, but darker.
Yes, another thing, real quick. I don't know if it's. Is this true in foreign countries? Was this part of the real story? When a criminal does a crime, they take the criminal and reenact it with normal people.
yeah.
with the real
I've seen
criminal.
that. I've seen that numerous times.
I was like, what
in
the hell
Hong
are they
Kong
doing?
Film.
Kid in the
Honestly,
box.
I do not know. I always took it as some sort of like continual element of humor,
Mhm.
because that's honestly, to me, the only downfall of Dr. Lam. But no matter how talented the people connected to this movie were, it was still about making the almighty dollar. So there was
Sure.
this necessity to try to make things a little bit more humorous than not. I mean, like the fool, that was, but to make like fools within the police department doing things like that. But that was part of a formula within a Hong Kong film too.
I feel like it worked, and I feel like for this kind of film, because without that humor, I mean, it's a dark fucking film either way. But without that little bit of humor, you're just like, oh shit, this is really dark. It gave you some.
So you think it breaks it up a little bit, or does it seem out of place?
No, it doesn't seem out of place. It works for it. I think it works
Okay.
perfect for it.
Yeah, it works.
I'm just trying to think of like how it kind of breaks it up a little bit, but it's still like it's a titty falling. It's still like a chopped off titty, but it fell on somebody's back, which was just funny. And the way that the way that they all reacted to it was funny. Was just fucking funny when he realized what it really was, and drops it on her back. And I'm just
that was a good element of humor.
It was just the whole jar of the liquid too, just poured all over them. It's like they're just chilling.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, I'll be puking. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
I don't know why, but the idea that in reality he kept all this stuff in Tupperware, which honestly makes a lot more sense than jars, because it does give a little bit more credence to the idea of the family couldn't smell some of this stuff, because he was, even though this is the thing, the family didn't like formaldehyde. Yeah, it doesn't smell like formaldehyde.
Yeah,
My
no.
ass.
They
It
gave hints
smelled
where
like
the
formaldehyde.
brother-in-law or the brother smelt it. Where he went in the room, he was going,
yeah,
like he smelled something.
So,
like,
so Tupperware would help, but still,
to an extent. I mean, the jars would help a lot better because it would.
But no, the Tupperware goes and tightens. So
yeah,
but
Tupperware
I mean,
is known for their super seal.
Exactly.
Either way, I feel like if that's going on in somebody's house, somebody's eventually gonna be like, "Yo, all right, man."
Or go in that closet and say, "Hey, looking at something for something," and they see a whole bunch of shit, a tip floating in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, yo, let me borrow that coat, man. What the fuck?
So now that you say that, I think the family did have some kind of idea of somewhat going on.
Yeah.
They had to.
I feel that maybe they didn't know about the whole collection. They knew he was doing some shit he shouldn't have been doing. They knew he was doing something. Maybe not the whole serial killer vibe of him, but they knew he was definitely out there.
You're talking about the saw cutting them in half in the fucking house, and him cleaning it up perfectly every time. No one's laying down and having brain splatter and fucking blood everywhere.
The body parts out of the fish thing.
Yeah,
like all these body. Well, number one, that's an awesome scene, no matter what in horror.
Yeah, but he was dropping the stuff in his
unbelievable. But that was one thing that was very unbelievable. Was you had body parts, even bones, whatever, going into a fish tank, and they were going in the fish tank. So I was like, can you give us at least like a 2-second thing of him like digging in there for these things?
Like shit.
But
and
it's like the family like, oh, your fish. They seem to like humans now. I guess this is normal. Oh, they like fingers. Where do you get fingers?
Turn your bitches into piranhas.
It does make you think, like, how don't you know there has to be a smell, there has to be a sound, there has to be a speckle of blood somewhere.
Mhm.
There has to be something somewhere, and they were just like, oh,
Well, this is the thing. This is also the time period of a lot of serial killers, and most infamously, Jeffrey Dahmer. If you
oh,
look at the Dahmer case, it was seriously, he should have been caught months before. It's just police did not take certain people's calls seriously because they lived in a certain part of town and they were a certain color.
mhm.
Jeffrey Dahmer would not have done a lot of things if, I mean, there's record of this. So, yet again, that goes into the whole police thing. And, they're kind of bumbling, also very
Yes.
violent. But no, this was in the psyche already of the public. So, it was a rather savage decade, to be
Shit.
honest with you, when you really think about it.
Shit, you're not lying. You're not
Yep.
lying. I never even heard of this movie, and when I watched it, I'm just
No.
like, oh my gosh,
I'll hook you up with some other ones that'll equally freak you out.
sounds good to me.
And I like when they're based on like true stories and shit,
Mm.
like true, like real people. I'm like, oh, okay.
Untold
do, but I don't.
Story, which is it's about the serial killer that I don't remember the name, but they made human dumplings.
Jeez.
Yeah. Also
right.
directed by Danny Lee.
Sounds
Oh.
delicious.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Yummy.
Oh,
I
is
think
that
you
a
guys
non-human?
You
grilled
will never
first.
think the same way about chopsticks again after you watch Danny Lee's Untold Story with Anthony Wong. And that's not a good thing.
What's he do with the chopsticks?
You mean the
You don't-
chopsticks?
I-
Like the
you're
thing?
going to have to watch it. And
There
all
you
you
go.
people out
Oh,
there are gonna
I got
have
a
to
feeling
watch
he
it.
takes an eyeball out with him. I got a
Oh
feeling.
no, that's
No.
nothing. That's nothing.
Sorry, we're froze. I don't know why.
Oh, I just noticed.
Try
I didn't even
turn your
notice
camera on.
I thought you guys are having a staring contest with me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Definitely winning. Definitely winning dreams.
But no, I really enjoyed this movie though.
What would you rate it?
I'm gonna break my rule.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna go halves. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay. You know what? I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. How about you, Trevor?
I'm going to give it a solid 9.
Dave? There you go.
Okay.
Back.
I'm gonna go 8. I got hooked in this one pretty quick. Not so much the intro, but the opening credits. I kind of got 7 vibes from it in the sense that you see the serial killer during the opening credits kind of thing. And like James was saying, how they caught him so early, I was kind of like, well, it can't be him then because they caught him right away. I kind of thought it was the brother for a second.
Yeah,
because the brother was more aggressive or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe they'd go in a different direction, but no, we got the flashbacks all throughout with 3 women. I think they showed him kill in the movie.
He killed 4 total.
Four
four
The
total.
fourth,
Yeah.
Okay.
the fourth one was an accident. Well, accident, I'll say in quotes. He
well,
didn't mean
the one that was pure.
Well,
He didn't want to kill the teenager, the 17-year-old.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, some of the dark comedy caught me off guard, but it kept me into the movie. It didn't seem out of place. I could see why people would say it's out of place, but to me, it wasn't. To me, it fit with this kind of movie. So yeah, I'll go a solid 8 for me.
Cool.
Nice. How about you, Chad?
I'll go like 7. Like I liked it, but it was just I don't know. Like I said, like I like these kind of movies that are based on true events, but I don't because you really don't know what happened. So I really want to know what happened. Like I'd rather see like a more accurate portrayal.
It does make you want to like. I think next time I'm going to take it where, like, if I'm going to like, oh, this is based on a real killer. Before I watch the movie, I might Google the real killer and just like
watch the documentary of it,
or just read up on like what he did, and just so I know what I'm looking forward to. Like,
it's It's like Hooper saying that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based on a real event. Well, that's really loose, boys and girls.
Right. Even like the story of like Ed Gein and stuff.
That was Ed,
Yeah.
that was Ed Gein, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Ed Gein, but Ed Gein.
Yeah.
I mean,
That wasn't.
he wore
It wasn't, no.
skin
Yeah.
and he butchered.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
I mean, there was a great movie from
true
Canada
events,
called
tickets.
Deranged
Yeah.
that is much more for Gein, but
yeah,
this,
I mean,
this
these
is
kind of
a
movies
pretty-
are kind of hit and miss, but this one definitely got my attention.
and this one is very close to the original case. It really sticks.
That's
to
what's cool about it too.
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't know that because usually I don't never think about that because I'm like, okay, they're adding shit in here to make it a little bit more,
Make it a little
dramatic,
bit more
a
entertaining.
little bit more entertaining.
Well, I read his bio
Crazy.
too, and it said he was a cannibal.
See, that's crazy.
They didn't show any of that shit.
So he
They
was,
show a
taking
lot.
bites, he was taking bites of that titty.
I feel they were probably like, you know what, guys, we showed enough in this one. Like, I mean, we showed him fucking a dead chick in a rocking chair.
That's
some
true.
crazy
That's crazy.
shit.
That's crazy shit.
I'm my ass over here thinking like, okay, sex in a rocking chair may not be bad, but then I'm like, you know what? What if you accidentally hit your foot? That's gonna fuck everything up.
That's what would a child do if they thought they should do that? He doesn't have any idea. I mean, he's
even lotioned her up.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was probably starting to kind of get that funky smell.
Well, rigor mortis is a thing, so. But then again, once rigor mortis hits, there's not a lot of options.
Well, hey. No, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
You save it for after the show, James. Write it down.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
It's called Visitor Q. It's really disgusting.
I stopped myself.
Good job. We write that stuff. We type that stuff down. We say it to each other when the cameras are off now, James. That's all. It's funnier.
Yeah, our chat cannot see the light of day ever.
No. You know what's funny about group chats is they're so damn. They can start out
the funeral home stays funeral home.
Like every single one of them starts off at some point, and we may not say to each other till about 11:59. Like, yo, good morning, and then we'll talk about like a movie from the day before or something from the day before, and what triggers it could be like a crazy like this movie. And any of the group chats tomorrow is going to trigger a lot of crazy ass conversations, just because like, yo, we watched this movie last night. This dude did this, and it's going to be. It just turns into craziness all the fucking time. And sometimes, if you're not paying attention to the chat, you don't even know where it started. Like, what the hell?
Oh, that's the best.
Sometimes it just takes someone just to say one word. Like earlier, you said "get freaky." I just popped in my head. Freak me, baby. Oh, yeah.
I didn't say that.
Freak me, baby.
I said
that shit just popped in my head. I was like, I'm writing this down.
So that one started with. I was like, yo, I'll be signing in. I was like, I'll be signing in by because I dropped the link. I was like, I'll be ready by 7:30. And you're like, that's what you said. That's my goal. And then I don't know who said my goal is to get freaky. And my
who said that.
So but here's the funnier part. So after I said what I said, as far as here's the link. I'll be there at 7:30. I set my phone down. So I picked my phone up to that shit. I'm like, where did this even start? Like, how did this even happen?
It just takes one word for me, man.
Yeah.
Whoever pops in my head fucking comes out. That's why I almost messed up. I almost said this out because you said one word. I was like, oh shit.
I think the good thing / funny thing though is like we're like children with these chats. So like had I went in there at a time and said something right away, that would have been going on probably till we damn near started on the live. That happens a lot. All it takes is for three of us to just keep talking and talking and talking. Sometimes there's these group chats where there'll be three people talking the whole fucking day. And you're looking to see if you miss something like entertaining or like something not important like that, but like, kind of like semi-important. And it's a bunch of bullshit all day. I'm like, what is this shit? Is this what our women complain about? It's literally a bunch of bullshit all day. But nobody's mad. I could say that. But that's all it is. We do have our little bit of seriousness, but mostly bullshit. And that's a guy's group chat, people. That's a guy's group chat. Oh, fuck. this movie though, holy fuck! This is one of those movies that's gonna kind of like you're not gonna forget it. You may forget about it until somebody mentions the title. You're like, yeah, I seen that shit, man. That was a crazy ass movie. Crazy fucking movie.
Yeah, because I went into this one blind too, which
Mhm.
I think is best. I don't want to know
Yep.
anything about it. Just surprise me. So I was like, oh, this is a true crime movie. Okay. All right. This is something kind of different.
True crime horror.
So yeah, I was hooked right away. Right after the intro and they went to the opening credits, I watched it all the way through.
Same here. And I was again going back to what James pulled out, or what James was saying earlier about them basically telling the story with him being already caught. I do like that perspective because you got a different look at
James, that is an awesome thing to bring up because that's one of the cool things about this film versus some other films of the time period. It plays with narrative in a really cool way.
Because it does it so well, you almost forget he's caught at times. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Almost every fucking time they were telling a story how he got somebody, I forgot he was caught already. I'm sitting here thinking, where the fuck are they gonna get this guy off the streets?
Yeah, you're like, was he just in the police station? Why did you let him go?
But I do enjoy the way they told it because we've seen it so many times to where it's the hunt for him, to where it's the hunt to where you see the actual things going on, the hunt for him, then you catch him, and the interrogation isn't as good as this interrogation was. Like, as far as like, if you want to call this,
You can't top it.
if you want, yeah, exactly. This, you know what, I'm gonna bump this up to an 8 because if you want to call this like an interrogation type of film, if you want to throw that into a subgenre, which I feel like you should, this is the best interrogation film I've ever seen. Just because of the way it started. It started as an interrogation film. It didn't end up being, well, you know what I mean. This is the best interrogation I've seen portrayed in a film, but I do feel like, I guess you can kind of call it that. I'm sure there's others that have interrogation as like their, I know there's others, but this did it the best from what I've seen. This definitely did the best from what I've seen. Again, going back to the revenge with I Saw the Devil. Different endings, of course, but just like the way that shit ended, you're just like, yo, that dude right there, I wouldn't even want to fucking step on his shoe on accident. Because his revenge is probably cutting my foot off and sending it to my grandfather or some shit in heaven. Some wild shit like that. I'm like, that was an accident. I'm sorry.
If it wasn't raining, you'd be fine.
No, this was a different dude. It didn't matter, rain or shine. He wanted his revenge.
Yeah, he wanted his revenge. Yeah.
But that was different. What the dude did, which I do highly recommend that movie if you guys have not seen it. I will not spoil it on here. We already did another episode. I Saw the Devil is excellent. Hands down, the best revenge film I've ever seen in my life. When you watch that shit from beginning to end, you see how it ends. That shit. Crazy. It was bittersweet, and he fucked up a lot of people's lives mentally after that shit. Oh man. And you know what's crazy? Oh fuck, I can't even talk about it without. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. That's why I just stopped.
Because it brings me another
movie that leaves you with sympathy for no one.
Exactly.
That's something I want to watch that again. I don't know when, but I definitely want to watch it again. I may do a little watch party for it, honestly, but it has to be for people like listen because I want to see people's reactions and talk about it like right after. And that's one of those films there that I feel is worth that. Watch party in a different sense of like laughter and having a good time. It's more so of like, yo, this is one of those films. It's like I just want to see, and hear what you feel about this film. Like literally right after we're done watching it, let's fucking talk about it. And that's one of those because
this would even be even better like an Alamo Draft House or something on a live screen with a live audience who weren't necessarily all familiar with it.
I would say weren't familiar with it, but don't mind that extremeness in film. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that they like revenge movies, but not to that extent. You know what I mean? Like their revenge is like, you know, a girl sleeping with someone else's husband type of revenge. That's different type of weird revenge. We don't need that. We don't want that. We don't want STD revenge. We want the revenge this guy did. The one that's gonna leave a mark.
I'm waiting for that movie made about, you know, the character that just goes on a massive gonorrhea spreading revenge for some purpose.
It's
probably
usually
out there.
Gotta be herpes.
You know what it is? It's usually it's
Well,
usually one of those films that
yeah.
it's not the revenge like that. It's like the revenge is the cheat, but then they catch something.
Wait a
Or
minute,
they-
isn't there that movie came out? Isn't it called
Well,
Clap
yeah,
Twice?
if you as the catching something, the family of the killer in that film, who his son literally watches him basically get dissected by a machine, then yeah, that kid is, you know, the STD of the protagonist.
Boom! You see how he tied that together? That
You're
that
welcome,
was
Hollywood.
that was fucking. I don't even know how the fuck he did that. That was less than 3 minutes. He just threw that shit together real quick.
I played a lot of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon back in the day. I don't know.
I'm very freaking impressed with that. That was just like, what the fuck? That was one of those responses to where, like, you know how you talk to somebody, they just have they have like this perfect response to where you're just like, you were just waiting for someone to ask you or just mention this in a specific way for you to just respond that way, weren't you? You were just waiting for your moment.
Mhm.
And it's all, I love when it hits like that. That was so freaking just like, wow. Holy fucking shit. You guys need to watch more Asian cinema. You need to watch more foreign films in general because there's so much shit we're missing out on. That's why we're on this journey now. That's really why we're on this journey now because there's so many films across this world that are so awesome. Not even like this. Like even if we get into the ones that aren't based on true events or based on realism, but like say something like a paranormal type. They take it to the extreme. Like it's just extreme, and I love it. It's just a different level of horror, a level of scary. It's like they put more effort into it. It feels,
Mhm.
and they're really trying to scare the shit out of you or creep you the hell out. I love it. I fucking love it, and I know these gentlemen do too. Whew! I can't wait for more. And matter of fact, let me remind you guys what we're doing on Thursdizzle.
Oh, loose. That's right.
Loose.
hmm
Now, where is this from, Trevor?
I think this was it Spain or Mexico?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure. I don't remember.
fuck, I just watched this yesterday too.
It's an interesting one.
I
think it is
know I have it on my. Either way, can't wait. I can't wait. I hope it's at least as good as this one was because this was something. This was something. This was something
This
that's.
is a special movie in a special like kind of film. One of the things about, and this is, I love that you've been doing this backpacking thing is, you know, you can't really experience a culture through a movie,
Mhm.
but you can experience parts of a culture
Yeah.
that are representing a particular time in a way that literally is almost like, oh, I want to time travel to this time period here. And the best way to do it is look at the vernacular and exploitation cinema of that area at that time. And, you know, the cinema of Hong Kong for about 10 years, I mean, they were just, I mean, it was the third largest creator of films in the world. But I mean, legendary films like, you know, the John Woo films. You know, you just had Full Contact. I mean, you had Chow Yun-fat. You know, had all these huge stars, and Chow Yun-fat, of course, eventually went on to do a whole bunch of U.S. films. But they're just amazing. Actually, City on Fire. And I think he actually did admit it, which was a Hong Kong film. It wasn't Cat 3, but it also had Danny Lee in it and Chow Yun-fat. A good portion of the plot was taken to make Reservoir Dogs by Tarantino.
Oh.
You watch
Shit.
City on Fire and have watched Reservoir Dogs, you go, what the fuck? And I think he eventually did admit to actually pooling a good portion of the plot of that film to make Reservoir Dogs.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. hmm
That's fucking awesome.
So the Hong Kong film, I mean, Hong Kong films in general, because pre what we were talking about, and you get
Mhm.
into like the Shaw Brothers stuff and things like that, and that stuff is just, it's just so amazing. And it's amazing that this little area could produce so many movies, and enough people went to the movies that they were the third largest producer, and they were mostly internal. They didn't export a lot. They didn't export until the home video revolution, and that was only to Asian markets, wherever they might be, that decided they wanted to be video stores. So, I mean, it's amazing.
Hmm.
One crowded island of movie
Wow.
lovers.
I want more of their movies.
Mm.
I want more because
Mm.
they're just
Untold Story, Ebola Syndrome, Daughters of Darkness, Sex and Zen, Sex and Zen up to 3, all great Category 3 films.
awesome.
And
Category.
there's just so much out there. And some is extraordinarily lurid and, does not, have much of worth, but there's a duo of films called Chinese Torture Chamber Story, and
Oh,
they are period pieces about torture. I mean, there's a little bit more of a narrative to it than, say, some of the straight to video stuff that Japan was doing, but no, that was the kind of stuff that was coming out. So Cat 3, like a lot of other, cinema that either wants to push or has been given the okay to explore whatever they want, the two biggest things are going to be sex and violence.
mhm.
And the logical thing with that is the next step is to mix the two. So,
Okay. It
Nice.
makes
yeah.
sense. If they're gonna blend them, yeah. That's holy shit. Holy
And
shit.
Asians blend that a lot in their cinema compared to any other part of the world.
Mm.
Not sure why, but I mean, even, in implication in classic Japanese film. So,
Nice.
Wow. That is something. That is something.
mhm.
Holy shit. I guess they just take everything to the next level, to the extreme
Mm.
with their cinema. But fuck. Damn. Damn. Listen, people, seriously, check this fucking movie out. If you have not seen Dr. Lamb, and I'll pull the cover up so you guys can see, you know what I'm talking about. This shit here, that's not the doctor you want to see. I'm telling you that right now.
Mhm. And
That
that
is not.
might look kind of silly and everything, but no, it is not. There are elements of humor, but it is a very serious, disgusting, uncomfortable film.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Definitely different.
And this is a good movie, but it's a watch at your own risk for different reasons. Like if you like the
Mhm.
craziness, the extreme, the violence, and all that, if you can handle, I won't say like that. Like, oh yeah, this gets me off. They beat my meat. I mean more so of
That's what people call trigger warning.
Yeah,
yeah. Thank
exactly.
you.
I think
Like
necrophilia
that.
is a pretty big trigger for a lot of people. Just taking a
Yeah,
wild guess
he
there.
has a point. He has a point. That's trigger.
Well, if there's rigor mortis, yes, he does.
Oh, you keep saying that word, and you're gonna make me keep saying it. You don't want me.
Sorry, I couldn't not.
That was fucking funny. It's a crazy fucking movie. Seriously,
Yeah.
it's something to where if you think it's gonna mess with your mind, don't watch it. That's the only time I tell you not to watch it. If you feel like it's really gonna mess with you mentally, don't watch it.
Horror fans are watching this, Sturdy. By you telling them not to watch it, they, by their nature, will watch it.
I know. It's
Don't
reverse
think of the pink
psychology.
elephant.
Yep.
That's true.
It's reverse psychology, Trevor. You know,
Especially with horror fans.
yeah, we don't listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't help
You
it.
say this movie's terrible, and see, here's the tough thing about being me, is when I hear people, depending on the person, right? Depending
Mhm.
on the people, when somebody tells me something's a really good movie, it doesn't really make me jump to want to watch it. But if someone's like, "Oh, this movie's the worst thing I ever seen," I'm like, it's like a challenge. Like, all right, well, I've seen a pretty shitty movie. I don't have to mention its name, but let's see. And then you watch the movie, you're like, this is not that bad at all. How is this bad to you? What do you not like about this? Yeah, that right there is different. The name that shall not be spoken, kind of like Voldemort. That's BL right there. Only known as BL.
It's come BL.
Oh man, I want to BL to you right now, guys. With a hatch.
I was scared it was going to involve some kind of baby oil.
No baby oil.
No
It's
freak
all
off
Got
garbage.
parties
other
here.
engagements later tonight, so sorry,
no,
guys.
no Diddy
All the
parties
baby
here.
oil in the lube. You got to use spit and armpit sweat now. Till we restock.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
So we should wrap it up. You guys got a pod to do, don't you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They're on
We'll
a
be
10.
hopping in our video store here at 10 o'clock.
10
An hour
o'clock.
from
Oh, an hour from now. I thought you were at 9 o'clock for some reason. My bad.
No, 10.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure you
Gotta
guys
have
check
some
out the
breathing
video.
room.
What are you guys talking about tonight?
I was
Tim
about to
Burton's
say-
Ed Wood
Nice.
Great
Tim
film.
Burton, Ed Wood.
with
Go over
Professor
there.
T.
I believe I seen that a long time ago. I just can't remember it.
I just rewatched it. It's been a while. Such a good movie.
Oh man, you guys better go check these guys out at 10. Make sure you check out Ambassador Radio. Of course, check
Did that
out
movie
Popcorn.
come out around Donnie Darko time?
What
Around
movie?
the same years?
94. So
When the fuck did Darko come out?
90, that was a couple years
Donnie
later.
Darko's a little later.
Yeah, 90,
7?
between 96 and 98, something like that.
Because part of me feels like I seen that around that time when I
this was-
seen Donnie Darko.
Ed Wood, in my opinion, was like the last really great Burton film. And I really feel that he and Johnny Depp were at like the height of their game when they were doing it.
Some people said it's his masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
Such a good movie. So many good actors.
I don't know how he got the studio to go for putting it in black and white. That's a feat within itself.
You make
Oh, that's cool.
Beetlejuice, and you just wait to call in that favor. You
True.
make Edward
Beetlejuice and Batman.
Scissorhands. You just wait to call in that. Exactly. You just wait to call in that favor, and you're
That's
like,
true.
hey, let's make a movie about one of the worst filmmakers ever, and it's in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Okay, Tim, that's fine.
Batman.
But we're going to use your portion.
Batman. He did such a great job with such a phenomenal job with Batman.
Yeah.
And then
People have been using that blueprint ever since. I came out in 89.
Yep.
Keaton,
that's crazy.
number one.
I'm with you. That one, I love that one in Returns. After that, the next two, I did a podcast about it on Popcorn and Pies. You guys can just go check it out over there. But check out Horror with Sir Sturdy every Tuesday and Thursday during Sturd-O-Ween, which ends on Halloween. We're going to get on out of here, people. These guys got a great show to do at 10 o'clock. Make sure you guys go check out the Video Store Clerks on YouTube. And, yeah, we got some more foreign stuff coming up. Can't wait. You guys have a great night. I'll see you in nightmares. Peace.
Thank you all.
Diddy, stop stealing all the baby oil from everybody.
No
In the
diddity. No doubt.